Back over the change in the meeting format for the couple of people who have been here before and didn't know the new format. Basically, we're doing away with the whole round the room introduction stuff. We're trying to be a little less formal. We have a welcome host to welcome anyone who is unfamiliar with the space. So if you've got some questions to get answered at the end, Crafty Rachel over here is the first stop to your answers.
We're probably too.
And we'll also go around and do a tour after the meeting to show you what's going on. We're gonna start off with, and by the way, I'm Chris. Hi.
We're not doing around the room.
Yeah, I'm not introducing you. So starting off with some brief status updates on what's going on. The 501c3 paperwork is completely in the hands of the lawyer, signed with a check addressed to the IRS, and will be mailed Monday from the lawyer to the IRS. So then we will officially be pending.
Good job.
She's going to send a email along with, when the postmark gets smacked onto the outside of the envelope. But it looks like it's all good. We
It took 1.5 years.
it only took like forever. I don't know. I've only been working on it a couple of months. But it definitely sounds like it's going to get through. We're going to get bundled up with a lot of the other applications that law firm does. So hopefully that short stacks us somewhere because we're coming from a known entity and we're not just random Joe Schmoes trying to get nonprofit status. At least, that's something they know about. So along with the new format, we were trying to incorporate kind of a show and tell feature, just to kind of like showcase the various nifty things that we've been doing around the space. Last week I talked about the CreeperBot internals that I had put together, and just luckily Mark here has a bunch of stuff in his bag that looks interesting, and we're just going to take a couple of minutes to tell us what he has.
Are you YouTubing this one too?
Yeah.
Because I watched that YouTube video.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, so long.
You'll,
We also need to take it down just to set a few things.
Oh no, it's the meeting one, not your one.
Okay, good.
Is it the one about the midget?
Actually, roll it if you take it down.
This is great stuff. We need to get it on.
Well, no, I was waiting for. I thought Mark was going to pull out his bag of toys.
Oh yeah, so we're doing show and tell right now?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so I'm working on this project. I officially started it in college, and
How old are you?
and yeah, so it's been a couple years since I worked on it. I went to the Sensors meetup in SF a while ago and got me really excited about it. I'm interested in building an EMG sensor, which is electromyogram. It measures like muscle activity. And you can measure. There's a couple different ways you can do it, but one of which is like amplify voltages on the surface of your skin, and that shows you sort of like how hard you're exerting on any of your muscles. And it's got a whole boatload of applications. It's a really popular like college level design project. It's actually pretty simple to build your own, so I'm told. So far, all I've managed to do is amplify 60 hertz hum from the electrical line extremely well. It's a really nice clean sine wave. But so anyway, on that note, I worked on that last week. I had some problems with my programmer. I can try to work on those today. And I also got these guys off of eBay, which are electrode stick-on thingies, which are really hard to get off. I used to have an EMG.
I had like
I
5
kept it
sleep
wearing for like a
studies.
week.
Let me tell you, those things hurt every time.
I know. I left them on for a week because it was so bad.
What,
but they're kind of cool in the nerd culture, at least.
Are you gonna? I mean, once you get them read and amplified, are you gonna use it to like trigger something? Or?
Well, I mean, as soon as I can get that data into the computer and actually measure muscle usage, my long-term goal is to build I actually have a schematic, or actually have a board layout for a really small version of this. I wasn't really sure if the analog system was going to work the first time, so I decided to breadboard it. But I want to build a really small version that you can build for like $8 a pop. If you just like print out a whole board of them, then you can cover your whole body with them. And I think we instead of just like sticking like 2 of them on your arm, like if you could coat your arm with them, you might be able to get like really high resolution information which muscle is being used, and you actually can be distinguishing between muscles that are very close to each other and normally blurred together. If we can get really precise information like that, you can produce a much more interesting model of like which muscles you're using. And in terms of the applications, I mean, the dream is the Iron Man suit, obviously, but that's not going to happen. So it's really cool stuff you can
This
do
week.
too. Yeah, exactly this week.
Not gonna happen this.
But next week, I think I got that opening.
Keep going, Tom.
That's pretty awesome.
What are the ICs you're using there?
So these are some of the stuff that I had lying around. These are PIC-18s purchased for another project. They're pretty like way overkill for this. But the more interesting thing is I actually have a The amplifier on here is an instrumentation amplifier, so it's basically got 3 op amps. It's very, very high resolution, just like very easy to adjust the gain. It's designed for applications like this. I love it when the application note actually has in the the recommended or the suggested applications what you're doing. That's like, oh thank God, obviously they thought about this, so I don't have to. And then this chip over here is actually kind of cool. It's like a capacitor, voltage inverter, because it's a differential, it requires differential power supply, and then I'm going to feed that into the ADC on the PIC.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Also, the other thing that we kind of changed in the format was that we were asking people to submit in response to the meeting announcements, which are going out every Tuesday, agenda items, just so that things don't keep rambling on and the meeting could be relatively short. Dave's the only one who added a couple of things, but they all look like they're kind of call to action items, so we'll use that later on. The next thing we kind of talk about are the specific already scheduled upcoming events and classes. I think there's another crafty sewing on Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday I'm doing Sewing 101 again. It's going to be a little bit different than last time, a little bit more skills exercise, an opportunity to do some pre-formatted projects, and we have a new awesome badass machine to sew on. It's an original 1960s Singer, all steel beauty with all the components. So we have that to play with. So it's a little bit more fun to learn on something that actually operates correctly. So awesome with that. And then after sewing, there was going to be some puttering around here, just kind of setting up some things, maybe taking care of some of our random piles and whatnot. So if anybody wanted to show up after 1:30 or hang out after the class, you'd be very welcome.
Cool. So then the other things that we have going on that are big news ticket items would be 2 weeks from yesterday is the open house. We've been passing out flyers. Hopefully everyone has. Liking it on your Facebook page and telling your parents that they can all come visit. But the idea is that the weekly meetings generally have a draw of a couple of people who are interested in what's going on specifically on the time where they've got a project that they want to discuss. But it's not the best format for people who really have no idea about hackerspaces or no idea about ACE specifically. Because you come in here, you're going to hear us talking about our 501c3 status, and you go and fall asleep about it. So we were trying to find a better format for that, and Crafty came up with just a general call open house. It's more of a social. It's going to be touring the space. It's going to be more about interacting with the other members of the space, so you can kind of see what projects everyone's working on, see if your ideas mesh, and to find out more about that. It's also paired with a regularly scheduled game night. So if no one shows up, we can play checkers or something. It won't be too bad. But to that end, we do still have stacks of flyers over there, and I see 4 or so that are probably labeled for different distribution areas that could probably be picked up and distributed. Coffee houses, galleries, anywhere that people congregate would be a good place to leave a couple of cards. Then 2 days after that, we are going to be representing at the Chabot movie night for The Fifth Element. Yes, Lilo Multipass. Best we know is that we're going to have the shooting gallery put back together. It looks like we need to do that sooner rather than later. Aaron, Sacramento Slick Aaron, has said that he's working on a new line of art for it to theme it for The Fifth Element, so that'll be pretty good. It'll also be also be the first time we've swapped the art out on it and said, hey, we've got a brand new game. It's not that same game with the sharks. No, this one's different. And lasers just go with so many things that I think we keep rolling changes to the art on that and keep it fresh for whatever event we might want to take it to. So along those lines, what else do we have? We've got call to action. This is basically just things that we need people to jump in on. I already mentioned the open house, which is mostly show up so that you can meet people, and also advertise it. Make sure we gather enough people to make it worth our while. The movie night, I'm not sure who's already dedicated to that.
I'm gonna go probably.
Dave's gonna go. Aaron has said he's gonna
I can
go.
be available if we need people, so it's just
We need someone with a car that can fit that thing.
Yeah. If Aaron's down here, he'll have his truck then.
Yeah. I have my SUV over there.
Yeah, so it'll be good. Also, below events. Okay. Kegbot Social coming up. Saw that on the email list. I wasn't quite sure what that was. That's Drew. Is that right? Drew, who was one of our members, was working on the Red Bull racing car, which is why we have a white tape on the floor here. Apparently is doing a... Oh, that's right. He works at Eventbrite, and they've got a Kegbot, which is basically a keg with a tap and a touchscreen pad and an RFID reader to kind of like, meter out your drinks through the night or something. And I think it was a group of people who wanted to talk about that and maybe making other ones. Sounded interesting. Their information for it's in the message list. Yeah. Then there is a Code for Oakland hackathon coming up as well that we've asked to participate in. It looks like it's a software hackathon, nothing hardware based. I don't know if anyone's going to be interested in that, but again, it's on the mailing list. Last one on here was laser alignment. We've got a laser downstairs with a new tube that has been test fired and burned holes in paper, but it, I guess, doesn't quite burn holes in all the paper all the way around and down onto the board. So if someone has experience with laser alignment and might have a little extra time, I think the whole space would be happy for that.
I'll help.
And Dave.
I'm gonna work on it today.
Yeah, and I want to stare at it so I can understand how to do it next time. But that's all we have on the call for action list. Unless
on that Radio Shack thing.
that is on here too. Voting on the Radio Shack challenge. I updated the front door blog with information pointing to the thing. A number of us have already linked to it on like Facebook and whatnot. Everyone should be logging on to this Radio Shack contest and saying that our shooting gallery is far superior to a laser harp, which it really is. It's cool. It's awesome. Yeah, the laser harp. Our video, got to a pretty rocky start, but once they get to like the action shots and people actually playing the game, it's like awesome. That looks great. So yeah, Radio Shack challenge. You vote will potentially get the space $1,000, and you enter yourself into a sweepstakes to get $1,000 for yourself. Then, since there's nothing else added onto the agenda via email, we've got 10 minutes set aside at the end of the meeting to have kind of like last minute items. So does anyone have a last minute item they want to bring up? Go for it.
We got an awesome volunteer by way of Cliff's wife, Jeanette, who is pulling up all our lacks and needs in the way of PR writing and marketing strategy execution. So that word crafting is happening and we can actually get a lot more stuff done. She took care of over 60% of our flyer distribution for us and was pretty awesome right out the gate. She will be at the next meeting and she's cool. If she asks you something, she's on a mission to do stuff for us. So,
the other thought I had when that came in is, we have to fix up our accounting. She probably has some.
She just graduated with her MBA.
Yeah. So
I think it's MBA or it's accounting degree. I can't remember which now.
administration.
I know.
So that might be useful to help with taking a look at what we have now and what we should do.
She's very nice.
Yep. Right on. Anyone else got something?
I have a toilet.
You have a toilet? Yay! So the porta potty's moving out?
So what's the project schedule for the house?
I'm getting finished by the room and my privilege expire.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
What's that?
One other thing. Pseudo Room is having an open house tomorrow night. And Pseudo Room, the real
Aren't they the
open
first inclusive
they're the first inclusive hackerspace in downtown Oakland.
Are you talking about LOL or?
Pseudo Room.
Hey, we should all.
Yeah, they were second.
So we should drop off some flyers.
I saw that they have to take down the green wall.
For our open house.
We have a guest in the space from Pseudo Room printing a poster.
I was keeping quiet to see what you had.
We like the green wall.
Yeah, apparently it's supposed to be painted white, and somebody said, oops, I accidentally painted it green when I meant to paint it white. I find it difficult to understand how that happens.
I'm skeptical of that reasoning somehow. Unless you're so drunk, high, colorblind that you, like, after the first swipe, you're like, huh, maybe I should stop.
Right. That didn't seem like a plausible explanation to me.
Silly stuff happens in makerspaces.
Would you
So
like?
you can take flyers
Would you
with
like to
you.
take some flyers?
What is the?
We're having an
purpose?
open house.
We're having open
Yeah,
house in
I
2
don't
weeks.
see why not, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not like competition. You know, it's a joke on the list there.
We have no idea what you're
Friendly
talking
competition.
about.
Yeah, no idea.
Is that the joke? That is like the inclusivity is
There was some
undivided?
verbiage very early on when Pseudonym first was starting to get going about how being Oakland's first hackerspace. And we're kind of like, excuse me, we've been open since 2010. And then it was, oh no, Oakland's first inclusive hackerspace in downtown Oakland. All right, I'm just going to drop it now. That's it's kind of a rough
Okay.
joke.
Yeah, no, I'll take the literature you want me to disseminate for you.
Sure.
And
Awesome.
Thanks.
It's,
Hey,
I
where's
noticed
your
you guys
hackerspace?
were-
So the don't currently have a permanent location, but at the moment we're on 21st and Broadway in a co-working space that exists.
So the poster you're printing is for your shindig. When?
Yeah, I'm going to see if you like it.
Tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night, and it relies on your knowledge of two memes.
Yes.
But also using the Back to the Future hoax that occurred this last week.
Yeah, I fell for that.
I totally remembered that
previous
from the
one
movie.
too?
I was like,
Previous one?
About 2 years ago.
I didn't know that one.
Okay, so we're doing art. Some of the people that want to participate in art on that, and there's going to be like LED art by one of our members. So we're opening up to have like an art show, because it's not just what's about form, not function, not some of those things. It's other things. Yeah.
I need a picture of the sign.
Okay, I need to straighten that.
Considering that it's 50-something DPI, it's pretty
If you're drunk, that's amazing.
If you look at it from a distance, it all blends together, yeah.
It's
That
reading
too, that's
very
great.
well.
Yeah.
Right on.
Sandwich being misspelled.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's, I thought
Sandwich is misspelled.
charming.
It is.
That was purposeful.
you had to tell them.
Intentional.
That's right.
Maybe I should Photoshop that quickly.
No, we've got a last minute addition via IRC.
What's that?
It's the Dusty report. Made another attempt to clear the main binder fluid line, which actually has crystallized fluid in it, some of which managed to crush with brute force. But other transparent pieces are as hard as plastic and won't budge.
It's called binder.
I can only assume to say for the smaller lines. Any yellow lines will need to be replaced. Who has the contact info for the member who
That
said
is a
they
point.
donate lines?
Wasn't that on the mailing list?
There was a mailing list thing.
Matt in
Matt
Seattle
yeah,
is gonna
Metric
donate
Space was going to
via-
lines.
via
I mean,
Miles.
isn't it just tubing? I mean, is it
I
like
think so.
special fancy tubing?
I could ask Matt, but I
It
don't
looked like
think it's
pretty
special.
standard plastic tubing.
Yeah, so maybe we could quicker source plastic tubing at
I
Home
don't
Depot.
recall it being difficult.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll get a realm of a lot of invective from him, and then he'll tell me.
yeah,
He has rants about hackerspace. It's pretty much queued up.
yeah. But the
Does he run a
the previous
No, he runs a for-profit business.
Yeah.
Unlike the Rich Boys Clubs, which are hackerspace. He actually has to turn a profit in order to pay his employees and to eat more than ramen. So therefore, he has a little bit more of a fiscal value.
But the previous status on Dusty actually sounded really positive because he Mark was saying that it was able to kind of like track and run through an entire kind of print run without actually squirting out the binder and moving around paper powder. But once I guess we replace the line and get fresh materials, it sounded positive. So someone needs to get some materials and some lines, and we'll see how that goes. But that seems to be it for tonight's meeting.
So we need some help with Lido. If someone can solder the header, because I tried.
I can do it.
Either of us.
You're a sad, sad man.
No soldering.
There's a DB25 connector over there. in header and my poor attempt at taking that.
Yeah, I can take care of
Children
it.
are crying.
David, do you want to do it today, or I mean, because if we're working on Laser today, I'll be here Saturday.
Children in Asia who are
so
experts in soldering.
I can take care
Cool.
of it.
Alright, well that's probably it for the meeting. We got Crafty over here to help out people who may be unfamiliar. I definitely will give a tour if you guys want to check out the rest of the space. But we're all good.
Terry,
And the pizza's not here yet.
do you have announcement connections?
Well, usually the meetings
Yeah,
take a
we
lot
totally
longer.
ordered it so
What's
far.
that?
It was a new format.
Okay,
Usually the meeting takes so long
I'll take care of
So
it.
now
gets here before
the
the
new
meeting's
format
over.
requires pre-ordering pizza.
I guess
Live and learn.
That's right.
Can we just
Live
like
and
schedule, like you said, an automatic scheduling button on Domino's.com or something?
That sounds
It's just a cron job away, I'm sure.
Not away, perfect.
Yeah.
How do we do on?